Welcome everybody to my review slash opinion of the Xbox Elite version 2. I am the Seventh Sword, and now it's time to delve right into what are the changes, because I also happen to have the version 1. Now this is heavily customized, and there's a reason for that, because it broke so many times, and I was like, nah, I am fixing you, because it was a lot of money. And the biggest issues with these, with the Elite version 1s, is that there was a lot of people who experienced issues with drift. I was one of them. I actually completely replaced the pot that drift, and 2, this part would snap, and I replaced it twice. So that's very, very annoying. But there were a lot of really cool things about this controller, namely these buttons being here. I was one of the people that really liked it. It worked out for many different games, and I got used to it. So I really couldn't go back. And now, very recently, they released the version 2. And I have to say, early impressions. Obviously, I don't know longevity at this point. This one kind of sucked for longevity. I mean, if you're willing to repair it, it's not terrible, but honestly, for the price they charged for this, those issues should not have existed in the first year or two. These are issues that should have maybe appeared in 5 to 10 years of using the controller for that price point. It's crazy how easily those controllers like broke down. Like, it's really bad. But the benefit of the version 2 is that supposedly they heard those complaints and they have solutions to those complaints. So as far as I know, RB and LB are actually constructed differently. They're not the same teeter-totter plastic piece of art that's in this one. I believe that they're actually individual buttons again. Now, I haven't taken this thing apart, so I can't confirm that 100%, but based off of what I've read and what I've seen other people do, is that they're more like the Xbox Series S controller. Is that right? The one that came with the newer Xbox consoles. It's more akin to that. So that's an improvement, except they're even a little bit different than that. There's some more buffers and stuff in here, and a little bit of different molding and stuff like that. So hopefully that means that those buttons will last longer. Also, you can actually tighten the analog sticks, the tension. Now, is that going to prevent drift? Is that going to be something that you can use to offset drift if it happens? I'm not sure. I don't really entirely know if it's going to be better in the long run or if it's going to cause more problems because it's another component that you can adjust. I don't know. It sounds really cool in theory, but in practice, will it last? I'm not sure, but hopefully, I mean, they did hear those complaints, so my hope is that they engineered solutions to them in this one. Otherwise, like, this controller is very nice. It's very nice to hold. It's got grips along the front now, not just the back. The triggers even have grips, which is really cool. And you have 3 profiles you can customize. I think it's technically 4? I think you have 3 customizations, and I think that there's also just the default. So you have, it's kind of like a pseudo 4, but I don't know, I have to confirm that. I haven't actually tried messing around too much with customizations just yet. I only have 1 profile on here. But I've used it for about 10 hours now, and it feels very nice. These are much closer together on the original ones. As you can see, there's more space. I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell, but there's more of like a gap right here. I'm blocking it. There's a gap right here, and your fingers could easily slide underneath, creating some I don't know. I didn't mind it, but I could see how some people could complain. But on this one, it's far reduced. So, I mean, you can still do it, but you have to actually, like, force your way under there. It's not just going to easily make it. So your fingers are more naturally resting on top of the paddles instead of what it was before. The battery on the controller is internal, and the charging cradle is actually really nice. You can charge it inside the case that it comes with, or you can charge it outside, and it actually attaches to the back of the controller like a magnet. So it holds in place really nice. And the fact that you can charge it in the case or out of the case is just a plus. The battery being internal means you can't really replace it, or it's going to be very difficult to replace. So, but it touts a 40-hour battery life, but again, how long is that going to last until it starts decaying? We're going to find out, you know, down the line. So, overall, It's a $60 price difference. I believe the Elite version 1 came out at $120 and the Elite version 2 is $180. Now in order to get an Elite version 1 you have to pay like $175 right now anyway because they don't make them anymore. So they're basically the same price if you wanted to get them today. If you're going to buy one over the other, obviously get the version 2. It's the far superior controller. I think it's a little bit smaller. Maybe? Or maybe just looks a little bit sleeker and smaller. But then again, I also customized mine, so it's a little different. But other than that, I mean, it's got USB-C now instead of micro USB, which is huge improvement since everyone has USB-C cables now for their smartphones. Also, it's just a better connection because it doesn't matter which way you plug it in. That's a good improvement. This one has Bluetooth, so you can pair it to a computer via Bluetooth. You don't need to buy an extra adapter with it. Although, again, $60 more. So I would say, if you're somebody who already has the Elite one and you're like me, you've fixed it a lot, you've dealt with it because you liked the extra options you had, then I would say upgrading to this one is probably worth it, just because it'll be new. You can kind of table your Elite version 1 or use it occasionally for something else. I use mine for PS4 because I have a Cronus Max. I'm going to test this one to see if it works with the Cronus Max out of the box already or not. I don't know, I haven't tested that yet. However, if you're somebody who's never experienced an Elite controller or a SCUF controller or anything with these extra buttons, at this point, you should probably just wait a little bit to see if any major issues pop up. If you're very interested in this controller, wait like 6 months, because I think anything drastic, anything that would be a huge problem would show up within that time frame, just like the other one did. If nothing shows up around that time, then I'd say you're pretty good, and then I would say buy it. But for 180 bucks, it's a huge investment, and it's even more than the original. So this one better last a lot longer than the previous one, because as much as I enjoyed the last one, it was a pain to have to keep consistently repairing it when it was that much money. It was very, very annoying, but only time will tell. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you all later.